First of all, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm super excited about this topic. It's probably one of my favorite topics, and you see why there on the first page of my presentation tonight. But welcome to Raising a Girl, which stands for Greatness Using Real Life Lessons. My name is Scott-Mayo, and I am a school counselor at Short Pine Middle School. I'm also a member of the Board of Directors for the Virginia School Counselor Association. And most importantly, I'm proud mom of Karis, who is 9, and Berkeley, who is 4. So they are.
I'm sorry, I'm going to pause you for 1 second. Can you try to stop sharing and share again? Because it's kind of clicking in and out.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Stopped. Does that work?
All right. Yep, it's not doing it now.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to start off tonight with a spoken word poem that I actually wrote during my sophomore year of college, and I actually used it to compete in a campus pageant. So it was kind of my first chance sharing my poetry and my thoughts in a public space. So here it goes. It is entitled Envy. Young women have stomped on my pride. Girls have spat on my stride. My heart torn, wish I'd never been born. What is it that torments the female race so? Envy is the reservoir from which all these things flow. Jealousy, hate, and arrogance alike, these are the reasons women seem so trifling. They say they're so tired of the drama. They do. Then why are you hating on the girl standing next to you? Her hair's not right, neither's her dress. I laugh as envy causes her own distress. Envy, you think you're so hot? Then why do you want all the good things I've got? Young ladies, why do we do as we do? We walk by, we snicker, we talk about you. Why can't we recognize our own beauty? Why can't we in life fulfill our own duty? Why can't we bond and strengthen each other? Because we're too busy hating to love one another. Why can't we let go of envy and put her to rest? Because to bring another down, we will try our best. Until we let go of rumor, she said, and catty chat, we will spend our lives watching our backs. Stop hating, stop staring, stop whispering too. Instead, turn to your sister and say, girl, I love you. So a little bit about me. I live in Glen Allen, so the western part of Henrico County, and I live with my family. I have 2 little girls, my mocha princesses, as I call them, and my husband, Keelan. He is a special education teacher at Highland Springs High School. We are incredibly fortunate to be able to raise our girls in a supportive community, and for that, I'm forever grateful. I am, I've had the opportunity to be a state and national level presenter for school counselors, for parents, for educators, and that those experiences have really molded and shaped my career and have allowed me to share my talents, my knowledge with others, which is the biggest part of my passion. Being a school counselor is my dream job. I cannot imagine doing anything else. I feel incredibly fortunate to be able to walk in my purpose every single day, to be 35 years young and to say that I feel like I am doing the thing that I was put on this earth to do feels incredible. As far as presenting and sharing, I have presented on a variety of topics. My specific interests are girls and young women's topics, of course, anxiety and stress management, positive behavior interventions and supports, also training, teaching, inspiring, just really pouring life, energy, and dynamic perspectives into educators, into counselors, and empowering parents to be the best that they can be. And my family recently was featured on the cover of the Neighbors of Glen Allen magazine. So that is the picture there. Side note, I hate photo shoots. So that was a stretch for me. I want to challenge you now to think about your positive female role models that you have had the opportunity and been fortunate enough to come in contact with. Males can have positive female role models. Females can have positive female role models. So I want you to take a moment and think about yours. Think about the impact they made on your life. Think about what words you would use to describe that impact. And as you think about those, I'm going to kind of tap into your memory and hopefully help you to remember some that maybe aren't at the forefront when I share my male role models. So the lady in the top left-hand corner is my mom. She is my rock. She is the epitome of a supportive, strong, but also loving and nurturing mother. She is my best friend, and she is my girl's Jin Jin, and we adore her. The lady in the bottom left is my maternal grandmother, and she is such a fireball. She is a light of life and energy. At 79 years young, she has overcome diabetes, traumatic brain injury, and she is 79 going on 17. Her energy it inspires me, and just her ability to march to the beat of her own drum is another thing that inspires me. Now, I've also been fortunate to have some strong female role models that are unrelated to me. So these women, not out of obligation of family ties, have been there for me in a variety of different ways. I want to point out that they come from different racial and cultural backgrounds, because you don't have to look like me to inspire me. I don't have to look like you to inspire you. So from childhood, my very first role model, my babysitter, who is now deceased, her name was Arlene Whitaker. She was her own person. She was strong. She was fiery, and she got down to business, and she didn't take anybody's stuff. Next, I have Joyce Poindexter, who was my third grade teacher. I was in her class when she announced to the entire class that she was battling cancer. And I remember the strength and perseverance that she exhibited in that moment when she was transparent and shared with her third graders her challenges and what she was going through. Susan Selman was my health assistant teacher in high school and health occupations teacher. She helped me understand what it was to be passionate about your career and truly be walking in your purpose. She was a registered nurse turned teacher, and she helped me to really gain an appreciation for the medical field, even though I didn't decide to pursue that. Mary Ann Wall was my 7th grade English teacher, and she is by far my favorite teacher of all time. She came along during a time when my self-esteem and self-worth, self-image was probably at an all-time low. I struggled with identity issues and really loving the skin that I was in, but I excelled in English, language arts, in writing and public speaking. She knew that, she saw that, and she tapped into that. She was fancy and she was poised, and I will forever, she reminded me, if you're familiar with Fancy Nancy, she was an adult version of Fancy Nancy. In my adult life, I have also had some amazing female role models. Bessie Cooper was my very first full-time principal in Chesterfield County when I started off as a school counselor. She saw a light in me at the very beginning. She was firm, she was fair, and she demanded respect. Dia Champ is an HCPS superstar right here in Henrico County. She's our director of middle schools, and she saw a budding passion in me, and she gave me the gift of trust. I don't know that I've ever met a single professional that I felt had the amount of trust that Dia Champ had in me, and she believed in me, and she poured that into me. And to this day, she's really taken on like an auntie figure for me. So I'm thankful for her. Camille Spain is my mom away from my family. She has been a role model to my family in how to grow and nurture a family. And she took me and my family under her wing, knowing that we don't have any family connections here in the Richmond metropolitan area. Both of our families are out of town, and so she is my home away from home. And finally, Miss Regina Brown. Regina Brown is the Director of School Counseling Services in Petersburg for Petersburg City Public Schools, and she has ignited and supported my passion and love for school counseling. She has given me so many opportunities, and for that, I am thankful. So I'm hoping that you guys had a chance to just type into the chat. I'm going to take a look at some of your positive female role models. And if you have not had a chance to, go ahead and just capture some of those traits, some of those characteristics. While you're doing that, just a little bit about my story. So I grew up in a two-parent household, mom and dad, my brother, the four of us. So pretty typical family. I had the presence, obviously, of some strong female and male role models, but my life was not without challenges. Throughout my life, I dealt with a tremendous amount of conflict within my home. I was exposed to alcoholism in my family and really saw what alcohol can do to a family dynamic and structure. I struggled with self-esteem, self-worth, as I said before, with anxiety, with depression, and those feelings really periled my high school and middle school life. I struggled with identity issues. And so while I had a supportive family background, that certainly doesn't mean that my life was without challenge. All right, so this is me. These are pictures of me throughout my life. As far as my school life, I was an AB student. I struggled in math. It was absolutely my kryptonite and still is to this day. If I had to venture a guess, I would almost say maybe some sort of disability in math. It was pretty much that profound. And I really had some confidence issues. I don't think I was a student that you could really measure my ability with grades because the confidence that I have in my abilities now certainly wasn't reflected in probably some of the grades that I received. So this is just a reminder that grades don't always measure who a person is. I flourished in college. I was able to really tap into my leadership abilities. I was able to get to know a variety of people from different cultural backgrounds, from rural areas, from metropolitan areas, and I became a leader on the campus of VCU where I got my bachelor's degree and my master's degree, and I was a leader in the Black Greek community. I got married young. I was engaged at 22 when I graduated with my bachelor's degree, and I got married shortly after I got my master's degree at 24 years old, and mom at 25, almost 26. So that is a little bit about my story. Now, these ladies are my crew. If you don't have a crew, get you a crew, let me tell you. So these ladies are extremely accomplished. We have motivated and propelled each other, but most of all, we have stuck together. We have challenged each other. We have been through so many challenges. We have moved across the states. We have moved almost outside of the country, and we still remain connected. And let me tell you, when we get together, it's like no time ever passed. So I would be remiss without talking about the impact that my tribe has made on me and my feelings about being an empowered woman. So I just had to brag on them a little bit. And those are some pictures of us when we were in high school and then pictures of us now. All right, so this is what y'all came for. This is my journey as a mother. So these are my most greatest accomplishments, Harris and Berkeley. I wish I could say that my journey to motherhood has been full of nothing but light and life, because if you look into my daughter's eyes, you would think that. When I got pregnant with my oldest daughter, it was unexpected. I was married, but we didn't waste much time. It just moved into our house, and I found out I was pregnant with my daughter. And at our housewarming party, I was wearing a maternity dress. I remember my college friends saying, "Whew, y'all moved too fast for me." Too fast for me too. But I always heard about postpartum depression, but I never really knew and understood what it meant to experience postpartum depression. I thought it was something that people talked about in movies and that you read about in books. But I very soon realized that postpartum depression was something I was facing head on with my oldest daughter. I was working in Chesterfield County, and I remember a staff member coming up to me after I'd returned from maternity leave and having my daughter. And she said, "Oh my goodness, don't you just love every second of being a mom? Don't you want to have 10 more?" I was thinking, oh my goodness, I am a monster. I don't feel that way at all. I want to run. And it was at that moment that I realized how transformational transparency truly is. In that moment, I needed somebody to say, I have felt the way you have felt. I have battled similar battles. I don't know exactly what you're going through, but whatever it is you're going through, that is okay. That is what girls and women need. We need transparency. We need to not be shunned, to not be judged when we choose to share and be transparent. And I really walk transparency in every area of my life because, again, I truly feel that transparency is transformational. With my youngest daughter, I had a much smoother pregnancy. I felt like kind of had my stride with things, but as they tell you, going from 1 to 2 is like going from 1 to 10. I battled postpartum anxiety with my youngest child, just trying to balance and just feeling extremely overwhelmed with the process. All right. So I just want to kind of get into some research, some key terms and statistics. But before I get into that, I want to just say that statistics research is absolutely important, but each of us has a very unique and profound experience that can't be compared to data or numbers. So just some quick stats. Over 70% of girls ages 15 to 17 avoid normal daily activities, such as attending school, when they feel bad about how they look. That is profound. I'm a school counselor and just spoke with a young lady today that was having some of these same issues. She has goals and aspirations of doing gymnastics and dance, but the thing that's holding her back is how she feels about her body. 75% of girls with low self-esteem reported engaging in negative activities like cutting, bullying, smoking, drinking, or disordered eating. This compares to 25% of girls with high self-esteem. So I think it's safe to say that low self-esteem can often be the gateway to so many challenges that our girls and young women have. It's important that we lift them up, that we inspire them, that we pour life into them, and that we pour a relatable life. I tell my students that I don't want them to ever understand just what I'm teaching them. I want them to understand why. Why is this important? How is this going to impact my life? How is this going to make a difference? All right, as far as self-esteem, self-image, and self-concept, we often hear these terms used interchangeably. I'm guilty of it, but I just want to be clear that they actually have very different definitions. Self-esteem is often also called self-worth, and it refers to how we like, accept, and approve ourselves, how much we value ourselves. Self-esteem always involves some degree of how we evaluate ourselves, and either we have a positive viewpoint of ourselves or a negative viewpoint of ourselves. So, for example, a high self-esteem would be that we have a positive view of ourselves. That's the one we hear all the time. That's kind of a term that's pretty common sense, self-esteem. Then we have self-image. Your self-image is when you close your eyes and picture yourself, it's the mental picture that you have of yourself. This is not just your physical body and you as an individual, but it's how you picture yourself mentally from a psychological standpoint. A healthy body image means that you see yourself as you really are and that you feel good in your own skin. Going back to my childhood, that was definitely something that I battled. Self-image also involves how you feel about your strengths, your weaknesses, and your abilities. So I want to be really clear that self-image is not just about physical characteristics. It's also about how you view your ability. Even in adulthood, I struggle, and you might not believe this, with self-esteem, with self-image, and self-concept, even as an adult. And with raising two young girls, it is a constant battle of how do I pour into and instill growth, a positive self-esteem, self-image, and self-concept in my girls when I myself have challenges with that through transparency. Then we get to self-concept. Self-concept is how someone sees themselves and the perception that they hold about those abilities. So the self-concept of a person is made up of a combination of self-esteem and self-image. So it's a combination of self-esteem, how they feel about themselves, and self-image, how they see themselves. And so self-concept is almost like an umbrella term. Self-esteem refers again to a person's feelings of self-worth and the value they place on themselves. So I just wanted to make sure that we had those similar definitions. And if you want to look those up, you're more interested in those definitions, positivepsychology.com is where I got those definitions. All right, so now here's a chance for you all to do a little activity. So I apologize, the words are kind of running together on this slide, font issue. But I am going to show a quick video, and this is Dove Campaign for Real Beauty. Dove Campaign for Real Beauty is an amazing resource. There's tons of videos on YouTube, but if you want to do a quick Google search, they have some great resources on women's empowerment, helping women and young girls appreciate the skin that they're in, and they really look at a variety of cultural and racial backgrounds. So I'm hoping that my audio works. And Alexis, if my audio is not working, if you could help me out with any technical issues.
I will.
Can you all hear that?
Turn it up a little more.
Gonna change one feature.
Is that good?
Face. I would
Yes.
say that I would want fuller lips. I'm definitely a person that looks tired when I'm tired, and when people say that, I immediately am like, oh man. I'm starting to already get little crow's feet and stuff, which like my mom has. So yeah.
I'm a forensic artist. I was trained at the FBI Academy in 1993 in composite art. Worked for the San Jose Police Department as the police artist from 1995 to 2011.
We didn't really know what we were doing, so that was nerve-wracking for everyone.
I showed up to a place I'd never been and walked into this big warehouse, and at the very end, there was a guy with his back to me with a drafting board.
I had a curtain separating me so that you don't see. We'll begin. First of all, tell me about your hair.
Brown, long, I guess a little bit past my shoulders.
Your jaw.
My mom told me I had a big jaw. Yeah, they're brown eyebrows, dark brown eyebrows. I didn't know what he was doing, but then I could tell after several questions that he was drawing me.
Tell me about your chin.
I guess I haven't really compared it to anyone else's chin, but especially when like I smile, I just feel like it kind of protrudes a little bit.
What would be your most prominent feature?
Kind of a fat, rounder face.
More freckles like that.
You sort of realize, oh man, now I have to talk about myself and think about my looks. I'm 40, so I'm starting to get a little bit of the crow's feet thing going on.
Once I get a sketch, I say thank you very much, and then they leave. You don't see.
Still didn't know. All I had been told before the sketch was to get friendly with this other woman, Chloe.
Today I'm going to ask you some questions about a person you met earlier, and I'm going to ask you some general questions about their face.
She was thin, so you could see her cheekbones. Her chin was a nice, thin chin.
The women were really critical about moles or scars or things like that, and yet they were describing just a normal, beautiful person.
She had nice eyes. They lit up when she spoke and were very expressive.
The length of the nose, what's that like?
It's short.
Short.
Yeah, cute nose. Her face was fairly thin.
She had blue eyes, very nice blue eyes.
So this is your self-described image, and then somebody else described you when I did this sketch.
I have this whole thing about having dark circles and crow's feet around my eyes, and that's not part of the sketch at all that the stranger did. The stranger's was a little more like gentle. It's really different. Just very strange.
She looked closed off and fatter. Just kind of shut down. Sadder, too. The second one is more beautiful.
I think they're catching more of that from you.
Yeah. She looks more open and friendly. Happy. I've come a long way in how I see myself, but I think I still have a ways to go. I have some work to do on myself.
Do you think you're more beautiful than you say?
Chloe's perception was so clearly different. Her picture looked like somebody I thought I would want to talk to and be friends with, like a happy, light, much younger, much brighter person. It's troubling. I should be more grateful of my natural beauty. It impacts the choices and friends that we make, the jobs we apply for, how we treat our children. It impacts everything. Couldn't be more critical to your happiness.
Our self-perceptions are generally kind of harsh and unbecoming when really that's not how the world sees us. Spend a lot of time as women analyzing and trying to fix the things that aren't quite right, and should spend more time appreciating the things that we do like.
All right. So, because I believe in connections, I am going to stop sharing my screen. I want to make sure I'm connecting with you all. And I am going to actually drop a link in the chat for an activity that I would like for you all to participate in. Oops. Am I able to drop things in the chat?
Yes, you should be able to.
All right, so it is going to force you to make a copy of this document, and I'll tell you what I want you to do with it. So I want you to, this project I like to call the legacy project. And I want you to choose one thing, either one or the other. These are your choices. Think about what legacy you hope to leave your daughter or young women that are in your life. That's one. Number two, second choice is, what legacy do you hope your daughter or young women in your life will fulfill? Now, you can use clip art pictures, you can use words, you can use shapes, you can use any of these things. So I am going to, if you open it up,
We'll need
it should be a
access.
mirror. Will it let you, which will let you access it? No? Okay, hang on. One thing that we remember about ourselves is that we make mistakes, especially with technology. So, all right, try the link now. It should work. And it is a mirror. And she should be able to just Google search some things, some pictures, and drag them right in there. I'm going to give you all a couple minutes to do that. And I'm just going to show you, I'm going to share my screen again now, and I'm just going to show you an example of how you can go about this. Were you able to access the link now? Okay, I'm going to share, I'm going to do another link. Should work, but I'm going to copy it again. Ooh, wait.
That one worked.
I think it will, it was not a forced copy though. Let me try it again. All right, third time is a charm. There. That one should force a copy. And you make your own copy, and that way you have it. You can refer back to it. Great. Glad it's working. So I'm going to make a copy, and it's going to open up and look like this, be a mirror. And let's see. You know what? I'm going to type in Maya Angelou. She is my idol. So I'm going to grab a picture of her right in there. She is definitely an inspiration that I hope to instill in my daughters. I also want my daughters to be free being creative. So I'm going to add some things that represent creativity in there. So I'm going to play a little bit of music. I'm going to give y'all a couple minutes to just create. Being creative is one of the things that makes me me. So I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to be creative for a few minutes. You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round. You can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Ooh, mountain. We gon' walk it out. Feel free to unmute yourself and just check in, say how it's going.
Silence is quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we would take the world to its feet. Mountain, bring it to its feet. Mountain. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again.
And all I did was just kind of copy and pasted things. And ladies, everything's working okay?
Yep, everything's working great.
Great. All right. So that activity is yours. It's yours to keep. So hopefully it was just something I like for things to be kind of interactive. So I am going to move on to the next thing, give you all a couple moments to transition. It's an activity you can get kind of deep into. So, all right. So I talked a lot about challenges. I want to talk about some specific challenges, though, because I really want to make sure that, you know, I'm not being too vague. Some common challenges that women have to overcome are generational curses. Many times, the things that our families struggled with, the things that we saw growing up, we tend to perpetuate that cycle. So we want to make a commitment to stop the cycle of those generational curses. And we want to plan appropriately and think about the actions we can take now to be able to battle those generational curses. We as women are many times insecure by nature, not always, but can be insecure by nature. And we have self-esteem issues. So we need to foster growth language and healthy self-talk, not only in the women, the young women that we are inspiring, but also within ourselves, because we have to create an image for them. We have to create an image for our future generations. We also, as women, have to battle discrimination and stereotypes. We are in a very, very unique, a very challenging time for our country. And so it is incredibly important that we have a plan on how we're going to address, how we are going to battle discrimination and stereotypes against us as women, and specifically against me as a Black woman. Mental health. Women by nature tend to be talkers. Again, not always, not over generalizing ourselves, but we tend to be talkers, and we need to facilitate in conversation, and we need to have that conversation to be nurtured. So it's incredibly important that we seek mental health support and that we seek mental health services and take advantage of that support and those services, especially people of marginalized populations, especially people of color, minority populations, Black people. There are some serious challenges for access to mental health services and just the overall stigma that is attached to mental health. So we need to make sure that that's not part of our generational curse. And finally, we need to empower, instill, and speak positively about self-care, health, and wellness. That self-care is not selfish, and we need to instill that positive image and self-talk with other women. Now, I know I'm telling you all these things. So how do we do this? Like, how do we pour this powerful generation of women forward? How do we pour into them? How do we move them forward into the next generation? We listen, we process with them, and we encourage them. We encourage them to use their voice. I was the girl that got the comments on the report card that I saw memes floating around on Facebook that I talked too much. Well, you see what happened with that. We need to support passion. If we have a girl or young woman that is passionate about something, I cannot say enough about how important it has been to just the shaping of my life for people to encourage my passions. Without my passion, I truly would be nothing. Passion is extremely important to who I am, and what I'm for. We need to empower choice. We need to empower advocacy, and we need to help our girls and young women understand that they do have choices. And we have to teach them to speak up for those choices and to advocate for those choices. We need to instill resiliency and perseverance. We need to help them face the reality that they are going to have challenges. It's going to happen. That challenge is inevitable. And we need to help them to plan and prepare on how they are going to approach and attack those challenges. And finally, confidence. Not only do we need to support confidence, not only do we need to instill confidence, but we need to create confidence. We need to create environments and situations where our girls and young women can practice confidence, that they can see what confidence looks like, what healthy confidence looks like. Now, finally, I listed some resources for tonight's presentation. Before I give a final note, I know that we will have time for questions at the end, but I just wanted to point out some awesome resources that I wanted to shout out. Work of Art is a mentorship organization that is actually headed up by and she's the owner of it is Henrico Counselor. And she has done some phenomenal work with mentoring. And she is a school counseling director at Verina High School. Her name is Kai. And so I want to shout out Work of Art for the great things that they've done. I don't even think I've gotten a chance to tell her how proud I am of the work she's done with Work of Art. Nancy Red is a hometown hero. She was a runner-up for Miss America, and she does some amazing things in girls, young women's topics, specifically for minority populations. And then I linked an article there that I just thought was just a great read. It is Raising a Powerful Girl. So it's just a quick, easy read, some great tips. I'm going to finish with a quick video, and then I'll be ready for some questions. My video not working? Oh, there it is.
days when I have my doubts about my abilities. I struggle with my temper. I struggle with like how I react with situations. I wish I knew how to, I guess, just calm myself before speaking to them. I wish I was better at taking time to sit down and just listen more to my child. I wish I was more confident in being a mom. I'm not the most patient person in the world. Patience is far and away probably the biggest struggle. I just want them to know just how much I love them. My mom is totally awesome. She's fun to snuggle with. Pretty, funny. She does cook a lot of food for me. She's just unique. That's why I love her so much. We go on dates together. Like, we go shopping. She loves me a lot. I have a lot of favorite things about my mom. We like to watch movies together and color and stuff. We go to church together. We volunteer together. She is like my heart, I guess you could say, because she's that close to me. My favorite thing is to jump on a trampoline with my mom. That's my most favorite thing to go up high. We like get ice cream or something, and like you go to the nail salon and have fun. My mommy's my hero. She's pretty and beautiful. She is my hero. She just will care about me and just always love me forever. She's the best. So awesome. I always seem to focus mostly on the negative, and I guess I can walk out here and say that I'm doing something great, and that my child is viewing me totally different lenses as I view myself. So that's inspiring. This is my calling. This is my job. This is what I love to do, and I will do it better and with love each and every day because those kids count on me and they love me for what I'm doing.
All right. So I am ready for questions.